All right, everybody, come on in, come on in. I wanted to make sure I did a proper fade out. Y'all know I'm always struggle streaming over here. For anybody new here, hi, I am Maggie, your substitute teacher. You may know me from my cooking channel. I'm all about food and femininity. I am so excited to have a new announcement with my best co-pilot, I can't even call you a co-host, but Lucy and I founded the Finishing School for the Modern Woman, where we teach women of all ages, I'd say about 16 to 60 plus, how to be the best version of themselves. And you all have been asking and asking and asking, do you have anything for the kids? Do you have anything for the kids? So we went back to the lab, and I am very excited to say today, May 1st, registration is open for the Etiquette Summer School for Kids. We're going to tell you all about it today. Today is the day to ask all of your questions. I've linked it in the chat. If you're ready, you can go ahead and sign up. But before we begin, Lucy, please introduce yourself.
Hi, Maggie. Hi, all. Yes, I'm Lucy. I have a channel that is, and now, okay, before anything else, please forgive my dogs that they've already gone to sleep. So I don't know if you hear her. It's the female, the one that snores the loudest. So my male is pretty aware. He's looking around, but she's the one that's like, oh, it's CPAP time. Anyway, so I have a channel that focuses on femininity, elegance, and issues that mostly impact women of a certain age. And I actually posted something on Monday. It's a really interesting topic. So if you want to learn what the topic is about, you can go to my channel. But this is an exciting time that we're going to share something that has been requested by those that want to start making society a little more gentle and just a nicer society. Because right now, if you start looking at the world, it's a little crazy, but we can make it better. And we are putting our little drop in the bucket to make things a little better in our small environment.
Absolutely. We are here to do what we can. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of story time. Some of you all are new. I see the questions coming in. Please ask your questions. We're going to go over the overview. We're going to let you all know how all of this works, how you can participate. And then we will definitely leave time for questions. And we're even going to give you a sneak peek into the curriculum and the content that we've put together. So it all started back, I don't know how many years ago, when just privately I started taking some like etiquette classes and just some elegance classes because, if you all know me, I have a silly side that's not always appropriate. And I just wanted to refine myself. Just for my own personal reasons. And I remember I was doing a cooking stream and I said something about ladies, make sure when you hold a glass, you hold it this way. I learned that in etiquette school. And then I went on about the recipe. And somebody in the chat was like, etiquette school? Is that a thing? I said, oh, yeah, I've kind of been taking these classes. I want to be the best version of myself. And I didn't think anybody would care about it. But people started asking, tell us more, tell us more. So I started doing mostly cooking, and then I would do these like etiquette reviews. We would review movies. I would do like Q&As, and it was just kind of, another little passion project. And so you all in the chat started asking, Maggie, you need to put this in the course. Maggie, are you going to have a book? Maggie, are you going to do this and that? And I'm like, there's one of me and there's how many of you all? And one fine day, Luke Hazley was actually in the chat and someone said, as they usually do, are you going to put this in a course? This is so needed. And Lucy came in the chat and she said, I can help you. I have an education background and I'm good at writing curriculum. And the rest is history. So for the better part of a year now, Lucy and I have been in our laboratory working on the finishing school for the modern woman. You all hear me talk about it all the time. The finishing school is where we as the older women were teaching the younger women or women of any ages about elegance, etiquette, femininity. We taught them. We had a wonderful graduation weekend. You all have seen it. We have reviewed. And so now we're on to a new year. Well, again, you all were asking, well, this is great, but do you have anything for the kids? Do you have anything for the kids? And we hadn't up until now. So now we have put together a 4-week Zoom training. It's going to be a Saturday school for our boys and girls from 5 to 15. So the finishing school is ladies only, 16 and up. But this etiquette summer school for kids is going to be 5 to 15. You can take it from the comfort of your home. Lucy and I will teach it live, but if you miss any sessions, that's fine. They will be recorded and uploaded to your dashboard where you have lifetime access. And I'm really excited to offer this not only to your kids, but the cost, as you see there, it's $100. That covers the family. So if you have siblings or cousins, you can gather them together and everyone can learn in an age appropriate manner. So before we continue on, what would you add, Lucy?
I think it's just going to be a good beginning of an adventure for the kids and for us as well, because for me, I've created curriculum for adults, vocational learning. So pedagogy is a little different when you start looking at how children take on information. So I am hoping that we're going to learn a lot. They're going to learn a lot from us, and we are going to learn a lot from our children. So it's going to be fun.
Okay, absolutely. So I see some comments and I see some questions. So let me go ahead and give you all the overview. We will touch on the curriculum so you can see the content that's going to be here. One of the things that I always am fascinated by, and I've said this over and over, I don't really think anything that I share is really that mind-blowing. To me, it's common sense. However, what I have learned in this space with the finishing school, also with the coaching and the consults that we do, unfortunately, a lot of our women and now kids are not getting some of those basic manners and what we used to call home training. We're all in these devices and it's showing up in the community. So Lucy and I are old school. We're both immigrants. And so this is just our way of sharing what was kind of common courtesies. So we're going to go over the curriculum with you all so you all can see as, parents or as, guardians, what we're going to cover. And we'll take your questions afterwards. So yes, and yes, it is going to be 5 to 15. So this is our first attempt at the Etiquette Summer School for Kids. So if this applies, we would love to see you. And again, it's going to be Saturdays. Every Saturday in July, and I believe we said 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 10 a.m. Pacific. Is that right?
I think so. I didn't know, we planned it so long ago that I don't even remember the timing. So hopefully we'll get it together within a month from now. So I think we should be okay. 10 o'clock Pacific sounds like and for Eastern side, it's probably going to be a good time because it's going to be after lunch for the kids. And hopefully for the younger ones, we could have their older, either siblings or their parents be along on the session, because it would be, again, for me, I'm the analyst. I watch, I look at for behavior. So I want to see how involved their families are with the little ones.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. I'm going to walk you all through the landing page and the curriculum. This is where you'll go to enroll. Enrollment is now open. Class begins on the first Saturday of July, which is, I should have the date here, but you've basically got all of May and all of June to enroll. So registration will close. We start July 6th. So you've got 2 whole months to decide if this is something for you, because we do teach it live because we like for it to be interactive. And, we love to give our full attention to the little ones. So I've dropped the link in the chat as well. I've pinned it to the chat, plus it's in the description. If you ever need any of my links, you can go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. Everything is there. All right, so now let us go to the landing page. Hopefully you all can see. Okay. So when you go to the Maggie the Substitute Teacher.teachable.com summer school, you will see a landing page like this, and it's got a little welcome. I am going to go through the curriculum so you all can see what we're going to cover. And of course, you have access to this as well. So you can see that it's grayed out because we're looking at the public preview. Once you're enrolled, you will have access to these materials. So the first section, I always have the Zoom link for our students to join. They can join on any device. We're going to have some housekeeping. I'll show you all some of that. But if they have phones or computers or tablets or whatever device, if they can take a Zoom meeting for school, that's all the technology they will need for our classes. Yes, absolutely. After that, we are going to start with an introduction. And as you can see here, the introduction is talking about manners and etiquette, and then why it's important, the benefits of practicing good manners and proper behavior. So I'm going to take a pause here and just say a couple things. There is a difference between manners and etiquette. The ladies in the finishing school know what that is. This is what we'll be explaining to the students so you know what's appropriate and the subtle differences. They're similar but not the same. And then also, why is it important? I know we live in a fast-paced modern culture. We're all ripping and running. We've got devices, everything's blinking and flashing. But some of these simple social skills have become a lost art. And it really sets you apart when you're meeting people, whether it's school or even on the playground or going to someone's home. That first impression is so important. So if the kids weren't taught this at home, we are going to share with them and demonstrate and do some activities so they can practice what to do and why it's important. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, and that part is really important because it teaches kids to get along with anyone. You don't want your child to go to a house and the house saying, you know what, we can have them here anymore. So if they don't have the manners, if they don't behave the way that they're supposed to behave in a home, they're going to be, unfortunately, in society, they are casted out because they do not want that chaos in a well-mannered home. So again, most kids are probably going to have the basics. We just want to hone on them and just uh, guide them a little more and give them a little more examples on situations that they could find themselves in the modern world, modern young kids just facing different things and in society. So again, I think that this is going to be just so exciting to have.
Absolutely. We want the kids to be remembered for good reasons and not bad reasons. After that, we're going to move on to the section for personal grooming and hygiene. Now, again, I grew up in a time, I'm 48, Lucy's 57. We probably grew up in a time when you didn't leave the house any kind of way. You all see what's out there now. People will just go outside and think anything goes. We're going to talk about basic hygiene, taking care of yourself, how to dress and dress appropriately for different occasions. It matters if you're going out to play with your friends. Like when I grew up, we had play clothes and we had like church clothes or going out to dinner clothes. It's not just one uniform for everything. And we're going to talk about maintaining that clean and neat appearance. Again, first impressions are so important. It speaks volumes about you. The way I grew up, you represented your family when you were out and about. It wasn't just you. So we're going to bring some of that just old school home training back at a level that's age appropriate for the kids. And I'll say as a parent, the boys are teenagers now, they're 14 and 16, but I know sometimes we tell them things and they're like, yeah, that's just mom and dad talking. But sometimes when they're in a class environment, like they really perk up and listen because someone else is saying it. So that's what I'm hoping we can share with you all, with your kids. What would you add, Lucy?
And it's also if they see somebody else asking questions or saying, yeah, I understand it, and they give an example, the other kids feed off of, it's called synergy. They feed off of that questioning and interaction. So I think it's something that they will learn from each other. And again, we are going to require them to practice some of the things that they learn and bring back stories about how it worked out for them and which activity they chose to practice. So I think it's going to be something that is going to be important to present and ask them to tell us how they apply that information.
I absolutely love it, but I do want to make sure everybody knows this is going to be fun. We're going to make it fun. I know sometimes summer school is like, oh man, here we go. But this is only going to be taught once per year because after the summer, in the fall, we're going back to teaching the ladies for the second round of the finishing school. So if you're interested, now is the time to get on it. So when you hear assignments or you hear, any follow-ups, they're going to get the materials and they'll have those real world opportunities to practice what they've learned. And I can't wait to hear when you have your own experience, it just really sticks even more than when somebody tells you. All right, let's continue on. All right, so after personal grooming and hygiene, we're going to talk about social skills and communication. This one right here is huge. That eye contact, introducing yourself properly. How many times have you been in a meeting or have you been in a group when they say, tell us a little bit about yourself? And people are just kind of like a deer in the headlights. Those soft skills are really important, and it's never too early to learn. We're going to talk about active listening and effective conversation. That's what the playground is for. At least that's what I remember. But a conversation is a dance, right? I speak, you listen, you speak, and I listen. A lot of times, people don't know some of those basic things, and we want to start our kids off right. We're going to talk about conversation skills and small talk. What's appropriate when you've just met somebody? What do you ask? What do you not ask? You want to avoid any faux pas, and then how you talk to adults versus, someone that's your peer. And then we're also going to talk about nonverbal communication. I know kids, teens, they have their moods and attitudes, but some of the stuff that's accepted now would not fly when I was coming up. So we're just going to share how other people see you when you do certain things. It matters. The human brain, I'll give you all a little insight. One of the things that I've learned, the human brain has evolved over these years where we needed to be able to tell if someone who was approaching across the horizon was friend or foe, because that could mean your life was at risk. So there's so many little nuances that people pick up on, and you don't even know that you're doing something that makes you either warm and welcoming or makes you a threat. So we're going to talk about all of this, especially on an age appropriate level, but I'm so excited about that communication is a huge part of what is missing in today's society. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree with social media and technology. The new group of children, the new group of young women and men are unfortunately are missing out in understanding the importance of looking at people in the face, reading social cues. So again, we're going to focus on that. And again, they may not think it's important, but once they start applying and remembering those points that we bring up in the class, they're going to say, wow, that's what Miss Maggie was saying. Oh, remember that story that Miss Lucy said? This is what is happening right now. So again, the social cues and social environment is so important, especially right now with technology.
Absolutely. I can't wait. I see all of your questions. So when we get to a breaking point, I'm definitely going to circle back to them. And one of the things I love when we teach the ladies and now when we teach the kids is when they go out and they have those experiences, your eyes are going to be trained to notice things different that you just kind of blew past before. And then when you see it, you're like, oh, I remember that. So I cannot wait. Let us continue. All right, so after communication, we are going to talk about my favorite subject, clearly, Team Greedy. I know you're in here. Table manners and dining etiquette. We are not raised by wolves. We can sit down at the table and have a proper conversation. Again, this has become a lost art, if you will. I mean, when I grew up, mom made dinner, we sat down as a family, and that's where we connected, almost every night. Unfortunately, a lot of statistics are people are in their own spaces and doing their own thing, eating, watching TV, and that's fine at times. Maybe we live in the modern world, but if you ever find yourself, let's say it's the holidays or you're going over to grandma's or whatever the case is, we want to make sure that our little students are prepared. So we're going to talk about setting the table so you can be helpful. You don't just show up and say, "Is the food ready?" We're going to talk about age appropriate dining and table manners, what to do, what not to do. We're going to talk about the difference between formal, which is just fancy. Maybe once or twice a year we get really fancy. And then informal, which is kind of your casual everyday supper or whatever you call it. We're going to talk about different dining customs and traditions because, Lucy and I are both immigrants. I love traveling the world and observing how other people celebrate their cultures and showing respect for that. And it's really important that my kids, your kids, all of our kids have an appreciation for learning from other cultures because food is something that's universal. Food is something that brings us together. And I think it can be where a lot of memories are made. What would you add, Lucy?
Yeah, and it's going to be fascinating to watch what they know about table settings or what they don't know or the questions that they're going to have because again, children in modern world, they're generally not exposed to like a formal dining situation. So when they see that, just like I was exposed to the tea event for our Maggie Lou meetup and for the graduation, I had never had tea, but once you see it, you want to have it again. So you start appreciating those beautiful things about life that unfortunately with the world moving as quickly as it moves, we don't have generally the chance to do so. So again, it's going to be exposure for some and a refresher for others.
Oh, I cannot wait. And yes, we will demonstrate and have so much fun. Okay, what else do we have in the curriculum after the dining and table manners? Respect and consideration for others, as we're wrapping it up. One of the big takeaways, and I'll give you all another little, free piece. When you study etiquette, when you study elegance, all of these things that I'm really passionate about, at the end of the day, it's not so much about the proper fork and knife. I mean, that's a part of it, but it really boils down to consideration of others. You don't want to come into a space and it's like, everybody has to stop what they're doing to now deal with you. You want to really make sure that you are considerate of others, you think of other people, you conduct yourself in a way where you are part of whatever the celebration or occasion is, even if it's just a simple family gathering. So we're going to talk about showing respect to elders, to your peers, and authority figures. That's really important. That's something that I think also is a lost art. The way we grew up, you just don't call a random stranger by their first name. Like, who does that? I don't know, but we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about being kind, showing empathy, and being inclusive. People are different. The world is very diverse. We understand that. Lucy and I stand on traditional principles, and that's what we talk about here, but we want to appreciate other people may do things differently. We're also going to talk about setting boundaries in your personal space. I don't think you're ever too young to be able to say, in a polite way, if you like or don't like something. Do you always get what you want? No. But can you respectfully communicate how you're feeling? Absolutely. We're going to talk about that. And then a big part of it, dealing with conflicts and how to resolve them peaceably. We see so many people having outbursts, so many people having like a lapse of judgment in the heat of the moment, and then you've done something that you can't undo. And for better or for worse, our kids live in this internet culture where the internet is forever. And so we want to make sure they are aware that it's a wonderful tool. You can learn a lot. Social media does have some benefits. We're here on social media sharing with you all, but it's really important that they think before they act. What would you add, Lucy?
I agree. The consideration factor, being mindful for the situation that you're in. That phone does not allow you to mind your environment. That phone should be put away when you're around folks. And again, those are things that we're going to talk about. Just, being mindful of your surroundings, of the person next to you, the eye contact, and so much regarding being respectful to the elders, to authority figures. That is so important, especially with this fast moving world. We have sort of neglected that part, and it is so important because it boils down to having respect for yourself, for others, and for your family name.
I love that, for your family name. We do belong to somebody. And remember that. That'll definitely be part of the message for the kiddos. All right, let's see. What else do we have? Digital etiquette and online behavior. Hello. That's where we're going to close out because, we're using technology to teach the kids. And again, you can use it responsibly. You can research. You got the world at your fingertips. That's a great thing. But we're going to talk about what's appropriate and not appropriate online. You don't have to type everything that you think. And if you see people being mean, you don't have to jump in there. You can absolutely step away and be different. We're going to talk about online communication, and for me, that's going to include texting as well. I know these kids with the shorthand or whatever it is, but there's a way you communicate, maybe in a text or with your friends. But if you're writing something or if you're speaking to someone, I make my kids spell it out. Mom, just sound it out. No, I will not. There's a way that you can communicate so you don't get trapped into that little, that habit of just everything is slang and social slang. And then we're going to talk about staying safe online. Again, this is a family-friendly space, and, we want the parents to definitely be involved. Excuse me, but we want the kids to know ultimately, the world is at your fingertips. You can learn anything that you want to know, but there are some things, not everybody, on the internet has your best interest in mind. So we want to talk about what's okay and what's not okay to share, and keep some things private, keep a lot of things private, especially for the kiddos. All right. So Lucy, what else would you add?
The netiquette behavior and how to best show your manners and elegance and consideration to others when you're online. That is going to be something really important, and it's going to set them up for success because, again, they're going to start getting used to spelling out words on, when they're texting or they're commenting. Again, that's going to, if they're planning on going to the workforce, that's going to teach them how to send an email, send communication online. So again, I think that this is something that is going to set them up for higher success in this fast moving world.
All right, so I'll just show you all the rest of the landing page, and then we'll come to the questions that are here, and then I'll give you all a sneak peek into some of the content, and then we'll let you have your evening. Okay, so you all have seen the curriculum. Again, we're going to break this out over 4 weeks. We're planning on the sessions being about 45 minutes to an hour. We know the kids want to get out and about. We don't want them sitting in front of the device for too long, but we want to put in as much content as we can. So the pricing, as you can see here, it is $100. You have the live coaching with Lucy and me. There's always a Q&A. You will get the slides. I'm going to give you a sneak peek into that, and lifetime access. One of the things that I love about this space, and I tell the ladies in the finishing school, Elegance never ages. You can be in your 20s, your 40s, your 60s, and always working on personal development. I believe the same thing for these kids. So it doesn't matter if you're 5 or 15, good manners are good manners. And so even though it may be a lot for some of the little ones, it's good to kind of start thinking about this, have it on your radar. And then, like I said, you'll have lifetime access. You can always replay the videos and refresh that content. So as their brains grow and they're able to absorb more, they'll be able to understand. The other thing on here, there is a payment plan available, so you all can break it up in monthly or whatever. I believe when you click on here, it takes PayPal and whatever you want to use for credit card. And again, this will go away on July 6th because that is the first day of class. So it's all 4 Saturdays in July. So when you're ready, all you have to do is click that enroll button and it'll take you to the checkout page. We already have people enrolling, so we cannot wait to see you all there. This will be a space where the kiddos can ask questions. We'll have some movement breaks for them. We know that it's summertime and, we want to make sure that they're ready to go. And it's going to be a supportive environment. So you all can look at a little bit about me, a little bit about Lucy, and then some of the other products and classes that we have. But I'll drop the link again into the chat. It's in the description. So that is the curriculum. And so I'll let Lucy add, and then we will come to your questions. What would you add, Lucy?
And I'm thinking that for children between 5 and 7, I would highly recommend to have an adult in the room with them. Again, 5 is really young to be able to maybe sit still in a classroom for that long. So that adult could be there to sort of keep them in the room and keep them engaged with the content.
All right, fantastic. So let's take a look. I saw a couple of questions coming in. I have Yoli Olivia. She says, good evening. Hi, Miss Maggie. Are you offering a sliding scale / scholarship? Kindly advise. So at this point, we don't have anything for scholarships, but I always say this. We do have some very generous donors in our community. So what you can do is you can reach out to me. You can either email Maggie the Substitute Teacher at gmail.com, or you can inbox me. I'm Maggie the Substitute Teacher on Facebook or YouTube, and you can let us know your situation and I will present it to the sponsors and let you know what they decide. But again, this is 4 weeks of teaching, minimum 4 hours of teaching. If there's extra questions, we can stay on a little bit if the kids need us to. Also, this cost is for the entire family. So it's one log on for the family. And then once we go live in the private Zoom, if there are siblings or cousins, mom, dad, big sister, anybody, everybody can participate for that $100 price. So that's what we have so far. And just inbox me if you need anything else. Yoli also asks, do you think a 4-year-old turning 5 in August would be appropriate for this training? Kindly advise. What a sweet baby. I'm going to leave it up to the parents. Here's what I will say. I want to say yes. Now, I know they're not going to grasp everything, but again, just to repeat, we're only doing the kids program once a year in the summer. The rest of the year, we're going to do 2 sessions of the Finishing School for the Modern Woman. We have an advanced class coming up in the fall. Then in the spring, we have our graduation. So the kids program won't return until next year's summer. So I would just say, if you're interested, I would go ahead and enroll. And because you have lifetime access, you could repeat the lesson. Like if you wanted to do a little refresher in a few months, let's just kind of sit together and rewatch the session, you could. So I would say yes, but what would you say, Lucy?
I think so. And the lifetime membership is the one that would allow that child to, revisit the information the following year, maybe see a different set of students, join a different group of learners, and again start creating that online summer school society from when they were very young.
Okay, so if there's any other questions, you all can absolutely put them in the chat. I'll drop the link in case anybody wants to talk to us, camera on or camera off. Those are the questions that I saw. We're really excited. Yes, you will get a digital certificate of completion with their name on it. So that is definitely part of the curriculum. So speaking of that, I want to segue into, you're welcome, Yoli. I want to segue into giving you all a sneak peek at some of the content that Lucy and I have put together so you can see some of the materials that your kids are going to receive. We will teach the class live. I think that's really important to me. We've all taken classes kind of on demand and you're just sitting there looking at the screen, but Lucy and I show up every week. This is how we teach the finishing school so people can ask questions in real time, and I'm super excited about that. So let me go over here and I am going to share with you all a little sneak peek into what we have put together. And we've had our sponsors review the curriculum, so they have approved what we've put together, and we'll do like the first little section so you all can see. Okay, so these are the slides that we've put together that are going to guide us as we do the live teaching, and your students will get this material. So if you have someone who's into taking notes, absolutely, we do that for the finishing school, but for the kids, we're going to make it interactive. We're going to actually do some kind of like acting out. I'll do some demonstrations and let them answer. We're going to make it really fun and hands-on. Okay, so welcome to the Etiquette Summer School for Kids. We are so excited to have our students here with us. We are going to learn together. It's going to be respectful. We're going to support each other. There's something that I know that you don't know. There's something that you know that I don't know. And there's something that everybody else in here knows that we don't know. So let's learn together and make this a wonderful summer school. So in case you don't know us, you all already know us, right? So I'm Miss Maggie, and you may know me. You may see me online, in the kitchen, doing whatever I'm doing. I also teach older ladies how to be feminine, elegant, and have good etiquette. Lucy, what would you like to add?
And I'm Miss Lucy. I am a wife. I have a YouTube. I reside in California, and my YouTube is mainly teaching Spanish, basic Spanish, and then I've moved my content to be more about femininity, elegance, and issues that affect women in general in this modern world.
Absolutely. So let us continue. All right. So now that you all know who we are, let's go over a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. All right. We want to make sure this environment is healthy, it's productive, everyone can hear, everyone can learn. And we're going to start right now. We're going to teach about good behavior, but we are going to demonstrate good behavior as well. That's the kind of online classroom that we want to have. So I've got a few reminders that I'm going to go over with you all, and then we're going to get right into the material. All right, so our class is going to be taught live for 4 weeks. 4 weeks. So today is our first day, and I wonder if you all know what time zone you're in. It's 1 o'clock where I am. I wonder what time it is where you are. But this is the same time every Saturday. So I know it's summer break, but you're in Saturday school. We want you all to come and be on time. Miss Lucy and I will be here at the beginning so that you don't miss anything. And we want to make sure that you learn as much as you can. We want you to be prepared, all right? So if you want to take notes, go ahead and get your journal, something to write with, that's fine. If you need a headset, whatever you need to do, charge your devices, make sure you are ready and prepared for class. And like it says here, have everything you need within those fingertips so you're not having to run around, all right? So think about what you need, what you would use in school, and think about that. All right. So we're going to talk about, if your camera is on and your camera does not have to be on. But Miss Lucy and I will always have our camera on, and we want to show up and represent you all well. It's really important that you are presentable. Now, I know it's summer break, and that's fine. So if you want to wear your casual clothes, that's fine, but we want to make sure everyone's covered up, everyone is modest. If you're sitting down, you're sitting properly, and we want to see your beautiful faces. If your parents say that's okay, if not, you can leave your camera off. But if you are going to be on camera, make sure you're presentable. Miss Lucy, what would you add?
I would agree. I would prefer my students to be on camera. That way, we will see whether you prepared accordingly, not moving the camera around or just being in an environment that allows you to successfully grasp the information that we are sharing with you.
Absolutely. All right, let's see what else we have here. Mm-hmm. You all look beautiful already. Okay, let's talk about being respectful, right? I know everybody's excited. I know everybody's happy to be here, but the way that the class is going to go is that Miss Lucy and I have a curriculum, which means we have a lesson plan for you. We put a lot of work into what we want to teach you, and it's a lot. So we want you to listen. Make sure you listen really well. And then follow the instructions, because this is going to be interactive. We're going to act out some things, and we're going to ask you all to act out some things. All right. So if you do have a question, you can absolutely raise your real hand, or if you know how to use Zoom, you can raise your virtual hand. But we're just asking that you wait and let us call on you so everybody can hear, because the session is being recorded, and we want to make sure there's only one person speaking at a time so that everybody gets the benefit of asking and answering those questions. What would you add, Miss Lucy?
And if you are ready to start, you can send us a thumbs up or a wave or a heart to let us know that you're ready to begin.
I love it. I'm so excited already. All right, let's see what else we have for our housekeeping notes here. All right, so let's talk a little bit about online etiquette. Now, we're all online, which means you're on some type of device. Maybe you're on a computer, maybe you're on a tablet, maybe you're on a desktop, maybe you're on a laptop. That device has a microphone, so we're asking you to keep your microphone muted. If you raise your hand and you have a question, then you can unmute once we call on you and definitely ask your question, but we only want one person speaking at a time. And then also, you want to make sure that you're in a quiet area so you don't have a lot of background noise and distractions going on. We are here for you, but we want to make sure that you have set yourself up for success and you're ready to listen and learn. And sometimes you're in a space where you think it's kind of quiet, but that microphone will pick up on that background noise, and it could be disruptive to someone else. And you're going to learn having good manners and good etiquette is really about being considerate of other people. So again, raise your hand, wait to be called on when we have a question break, and make sure you're in a quiet area. What would you add, Lucy? Miss Lucy?
Think of your learning environment as the library. Remember when you go in the library where everybody is quiet because every individual is trying to work. So remember that when you're trying to set up your learning environment, your learning situation, just be aware that the less distraction you have, the more engaged you will be in the content.
Absolutely. These classes are only going to be about 45 minutes to an hour, and then you'll have the rest of the day. So we want to make sure you get as much as you can out of it. Okay, let's talk about the chat feature. Now, you all have used Zoom before for virtual school. I'm sure you have. So you all know there's a place in the chat box where you can type. Everybody's going to see what you type. Okay, so be mindful of that and be responsible. If you have questions and you would prefer to type it, that's absolutely fine. But we want to make sure that whatever you type is specifically related to this class. If you see your friends and you all want to, talk about whatever TV show or whatever it is you do, that's fine. But we don't want to do that in class. So we're asking everyone to respect the chat box and be responsible so it doesn't get filled up with a lot of other questions. And also remember, everyone can see it. and the chat will be saved. So as part of this class, you're going to get these recordings, you're going to get all of these slides, and you're going to get the chat. It's going to be saved and uploaded into your dashboard, so you'll be able to go back. So if there's questions that are asked, you can reference those. But if you say something that probably you don't want everybody to see, that will be saved too. So think about that before using the chat box. What would you add, Miss Lucy?
I agree. And again, it's part of just being mindful of the time, your your colleagues, your students, your friends' times. And it's just, if you see something that shouldn't be in the comments, and if you think about your mom or dad seeing that comment, how would they feel if they saw what, that little bit of negativity that you're sharing in the chat is just additional distraction.
Absolutely. So we will have time for questions, but I'm really old. I'll be 50. Oh my goodness, I'll be 50 in a couple years. But when I was a kid, they used to say, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything. So if you're like, oh man, this is boring, is that something that we should say? Or should we just keep that to ourselves? So yes, we're going to teach you about good manners and good etiquette. We're also going to put them to practice in the course. All right, let's see what else we have for you. All right, so we talked about the chat box, and then be fully present. So again, we're only here for 4 weeks. It's going to fly by, believe me. The sessions are about 45 minutes to an hour, so we want you to pay attention and participate. If you miss a session, you can always come back to the recording, but if you've heard of the term multitasking, sometimes we think we can do multiple things at once, but we're really not doing them well. So we really want you to focus, plan, find your space, make sure your devices are ready, and be fully present, because we're going to be fully present with you. What would you add, Miss Lucy?
And this classroom is yours. You will set the tone. You will make this activity, this lesson plan, this curriculum as successful as you want. So again, the more you want it to succeed, the more we will succeed in the end.
Absolutely. I am so excited to share with you all. All right, let's see if there's any other housekeeping. Remove distractions. This is a real class. There may or may not be a pop quiz. I don't know. So you want to listen. All right. So if you've got your furry friends around, if you've got other stuff going around, try to make sure that you're focused. Find a quiet place so that you can listen. If you're on a device, you want to go ahead and put it on Do Not Disturb or silent. And if you need to eat anything, if you need to drink anything, the proper thing to do, I'm going to go ahead and give you all a little tip. Go ahead and turn off your camera if you need to step away or move, because what happens is it draws other people's eyes to what you're doing, and then they're less focused on the material. So that's a great way to be considerate of your classmates. If you need to step away or you're thirsty or need a snack, just turn off your camera and then come back when you're ready to focus. What would you add, Miss Lucy?
I have to go back to the comment you said about the furry friends, your little furry friends. Sometimes those friends help, especially when you're anxious and you want something to be next to you, to be a little bit of a support mechanism for you guys, as long as they're not distracting or snoring like mine do in the background sometimes, or just running around. I think your furry friends are welcome to attend our sessions.
Miss Lucy has spoken. Okay, let it be so. All right, let's see if there's anything else. All right, so just to sum it up, and then we're going to get right into the material. If you have questions, there are no silly questions here. Don't be afraid to ask any questions that you have. Some of this you may have heard before. Some of this may be new. So if anybody is confused, we will break and make sure that we ask if there are any questions, but feel free to raise your hand, virtual or your real hand, and ask us something, because we want you to come away from these classes feeling like you learned something that you can actually use in the real world. Make sure you stay courteous and polite. This is the perfect time to practice those please, those thank yous, those excuse me's, all of those all of those common terms that have become uncommon. It really just shows that you're a kind and considerate person. So we want to definitely, we'll be demonstrating that, and we want you all to use it as well. So we're going to give you some easy homework, not anything really big, but let's say we are on the section where we're talking about introductions. We're going to give you a task, for example, to meet one new person in this next week and practice introducing yourself. Hi, my name is so-and-so. What's your name? Something really simple like that. So you want to listen, because we'll ask you in the follow-up weeks, how did you do with your assignments? And so we want to make sure that this is a safe place to learn, and we're going to talk about what we did right, what we could do better, and you will get better every time with practice. Again, if you need to take breaks, it's totally fine. Some of you all like to move around a lot. That's fine. Do what's best for you. But if you do need to move around, turn off your camera and then come back when you're ready. And then lastly, make sure we support each other. When you see somebody who had a win, who had something that they want to celebrate, maybe, they ran in to the house before at grandma's house and they just opened the fridge and just started getting whatever they wanted to. But now they realize, you know what? I should slow down. Go say hi, give grandma a hug, go say hi to grandpa, and ask first if I can have a snack. We're going to celebrate that here. What would you add, Miss Lucy?
Great reminders. I want to go back to the taking breaks during classroom time. Again, remember, this is only 45 minutes out of your time. So your breaks should be shorter rather than longer, because the longer you are away from the presentation, the more you're going to disconnect yourself from the content. So again, the breaks should be just a few minutes, because you want to go maybe take a bio break or get some water or some snacks, but then get right back into the classroom, because again, we don't need additional distraction, and everybody else has stayed on for the 45 minutes.
All right, everyone. So we just wanted to give you a little insight. That is the introduction. We are now ready to get into the material. So Miss Lucy and I will stop here and save this for our students. But I just wanted you all to see, especially, the parents, the guardians that are here, wanted you all to see what we have put together. We've worked really hard to make sure that it's going to be engaging, informative, always family friendly. We encourage you to sit there with your students, learn, ask questions. We've got a few minutes left. If there are any other questions about the material, about, our teaching style, what we're going to be sharing or not sharing, now is your time. Lucy and I are usually here every week on Wednesdays. Had a little bit of a detour, but we will get back to our regularly scheduled programming next week. So I wanted to take a stream to dedicate to the Etiquette Summer School for Kids. Several of you all have asked. If you have any initial feedback, I'd love to hear it. But that's all that I had for the summer school. What would you add, Lucy?
I don't think I have anything to add. I think that curriculum is pretty strong, especially when we're using it for the first time. And again, the more you use it, the more you're going to fine tune. And we're going to get feedback from the students and their parents as well, to see what worked out, what could be improved. We're going to have, the alphas and deltas at the end of the entire course, to see what we could add or maybe take away, because the environment is not conducive to having that specific topic. So again, this is going to be a great beginning, that as time goes by and we start applying all this knowledge, it's going to get better.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, to wrap up, enrollment is now open. It is May 1st. You have a little bit over 2 months. The Etiquette Summer School for Kids is going to be co-ed. It is going to be virtually taught. So that means as long as you have Zoom and an internet connection, you can join the class. We will teach it live. It will be Saturdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, which is 12 noon Central, which is 11 a.m. Mountain and 10 a.m. Pacific, I think. But yes, anyway, we'll nail down on the time, but we would love your feedback. We're open to making sure that this serves the need. This is our response to something that you all asked, but we definitely want to empower the kids to know that it's okay to want to be the best version of yourself and be, a little bit more polished and a little bit more proper when it's appropriate. I think it will serve them well. You guys are liking it. Thank you all for the feedback. So yeah, I think we covered it. So it's $100. That covers your lifetime access to the materials. It's for the entire family. Please share if you know any kids ages 5 to 15 that could use this. Again, we're only teaching it once per year. So after this summer, you won't see it again until next summer. And registration will close July 6th because once we have our cohort, we close registration and then we start teaching so that the same group is with each other for the whole session. So if you think this is something that you want, we encourage you. You have 2 whole months to enroll, and then we will see you virtually in class. Any final thoughts, Lucy?
Looking forward to this new venture. I think that the reason that we created this was because there was a lot of inquiries, a lot of questions about, are you planning on doing something for the younger crowd? And we thought that 5 to 15 would be, although it's a wide range. I think that the information, the way it's set up, it is applicable to that wide range. And then if there are some things that we need to work on, we will do so and try it on the following summer school.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is just like Lucy said, our drop in the bucket, our contribution. We want to do something tangible that's helpful. We will definitely learn as we go. We're saying 5 to 15 now, but depending on enrollment and depending on who actually shows up, we may tweak it as we go forward. But right now, it's a wide net, kind of casting that wide net, whosoever will. But I think it's always age appropriate because good manners don't age. Courtesy doesn't age. Dignity doesn't age. Being, having good etiquette and knowing the protocol of certain things, it never ages. And I don't think it's ever too young to begin. You may not use it all the time, but I think it's really good to know. So I'm super excited. Cannot wait. Lucy and I will land on the time. Now I'm thinking, did we say 3 o'clock? But anyway, we will figure it out. Go to teachablemomentswithmaggie.com. You can click on the link there. I also put it in the chat and it's in the description. So we will actually be back tomorrow. Lucy and I will do the Wives Club. We do the Wives Club usually on Fridays every week, where we respond to Kevin Samuels content, the late great Kevin Samuels. However, the first Friday of every month, Kevin's channel puts out new content. So we never want to compete at the same time slot with that. So we're actually going to stream a day early. So same time tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, for the adults who want to hear from 2 older women in traditional relationships. I think, are we going to talk about average at best tomorrow? I think we're going to cover his most viral video. Oh my goodness. So come back tomorrow for that. And yeah, other than that, we can't wait to see you and your kiddos in the Etiquette Summer School. We are just getting started. There's so much good stuff coming. I cannot even tell you all. We are building it. Not only are we building it while we fly it, we are building a community of people who want a return to civility and just some common sense home training. So thank you all so much. Lucy, anything else?
Yes, civility and the return to of excellence, because a society always looking forward to being excellent is a society always working towards something better. Anyway, so yes, I think it's going to be all of these different efforts that we're doing. Um, it's just again our drop in the bucket, and that bucket is getting filled. I hope so, and I think that the people involved are just welcoming the information, and we just love it.
Yes, thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to those of us who challenged us. Those of you all who asked, Maggie, are you going to put this in a course? We have a course for you now. Those of you all who asked, are you going to do anything for the kids? We have something for the kids. Stay tuned. More is coming. I will hint at it. I'm not going to give any details. Something may be coming for the men from somebody very important to me. And that's all I'll say. All right, everybody, we're going to go ahead and dismiss. See you all back tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern for the Wives Club. You're so welcome. If you have any questions, you all know where to find us. We have our own channels, and we'll be back tomorrow for more relationship content. So until then, adios.
Adios.